Welcome to episode 160 of Auto Off Topic. What's up, Brad and Bradley? We have two Brads tonight.
Yeah.
Just to keep things real confusing.
It is going to be real confusing because Bradley Brownell is sitting where you used to sit in my basement.
Oh, I took his chair?
Yeah.
I usurped the king?
Yeah.
Well, your name is Brad, so you're more like a fill-in.
That's Brad's
you're like
chair.
You're like a stunt. You're a stunt double.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks for having me.
I was actually talking to Paul from Hello Road podcast this weekend.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the lack of Brads lately on his podcast.
Yes.
So he's going to make sure that Andrew and I are on so we can have another Brad probably in
Yeah.
the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think we did. I think their first two guests were Brad's.
Yes.
Because I was their first guest, and then they had Brad Hansen. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's
and
a
during
good show.
Brad
Go listen
Hansen's,
to it. They just
Yeah,
had
during
a
Brad
lot of
Hans-
share on. It was really good.
Yeah, it was really good, actually. But during Brad Hansen's episode, they were like, oh, we should have Brad DeSantis on, too, so we have three Brads in a row.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, listen to those guys. They're good if you don't already. Podcast promotion there.
So why don't we talk about what you literally just got home from, Brad DeSantis?
Well, do you want to talk about that first, or do you want to talk about the guest's trip first? Because he is also there after attending an event, and he is the guest.
Yeah, we
that's true.
We were
All right.
both at events on the same day, and I really wish that I could be at the event that you were at, but I was at a different event.
All right, that's
Both
fine.
events,
That's fair enough.
Both events are good.
Yes.
So. All right, so why don't we start with Bradley? What was going on at your event today?
Yeah. So yesterday was Radwood, Detroit, and I think it might be my favorite Radwood yet.
Excellent.
It was
So for those who don't know who Bradley is,
Yes.
Bradley is one of the co-founders of Radwood. So
Yes.
if you enjoy Radwood, then for sure you have Bradley to partially thank for that.
Yeah, I've been involved since the beginning. It was June of 2017 was our first show. I don't know for sure, but I think the name was my idea. I could be wrong. It's hard to remember things that were 2.5 years ago.
It's hard to remember things that were 2.5 days ago. So I get
I
that.
know, especially when I've been on the road for 20-something days in a row. Yeah, so Detroit was totally rad. The whole city came out. It was amazing. Everybody was there, from the mayor to everybody. No, I'm kidding. Dodge was there. They had a big booth display. They brought a few cars from their heritage collection, which was really cool. They had the M4S Turbo Interceptor, also known as the Wraith from that terrible 80s movie. Super campy. But that car is ridiculously rad.
I didn't realize that it was like a PPG car.
Yeah, it was. It actually paced. I think it paced the Indy 500 in '88 or whatever it was.
Did it? I think it was the Indy 500, or did it pace the Detroit Grand Prix?
Maybe both. I don't know.
Okay.
But it allegedly it's the fastest 4-cylinder car ever made. Whether
Allegedly.
that's true or not, I don't know. But it's like a 500 horsepower, 2.2 liter turbo Dodge, twin turbo, twin intercooled, which was interesting. Really cool car. I'd obviously never seen one before. I think they made 2 or maybe 3 of them total. So that was cool to see. They had the Dodge Viper concept car out as well, the 1989 Detroit Auto Show concept. That was sweet. You could see the headers through the vent in the hood, and it was really cool, ridiculously cool.
I remember when that concept first came out, that was one of the coolest things. And the
Yeah.
other cool thing was that the mirrors were integrated into the windshield.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it was all one big piece.
And it had a speedster windshield that was shorter than the person driving it. So
Right.
But it ran and drove. It drove onto the lawn, which was another really cool piece of that. And apparently, I don't know for sure, but apparently that motor was a V8 that they welded 2 cylinders on the back of.
probably non-functional cylinders. I would assume made it look like a V10, because that would be a hell of a thing to just make a
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, but it did run and drive, and it is the original motor that was in it in 1989.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was about to be real impressed that the mayor was there, but now that I realize that was a joke.
I don't know. He might have been. Allegedly, so I talked to a few of the people that were there, and there was somebody that was there that was a designer, and he was saying that there were like 30 other Detroit designers that all came to the show.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Ralph Gilles was really heavily involved in getting Dodge out there. He did not arrive to the show, sadly. I think he had other responsibilities that day, but that was cool. Volkswagen was there, so this is the first time we had two manufacturers at the same show, and they didn't have a fight, so that was good. We had a pre-event party at LBI Limited in Detroit. They were also at the Philly show, if you remember back that. And they
remember that, yeah.
They have a ridiculously awesome showroom in Pontiac, which is like half an hour north of Detroit. If you ask somebody that lives in Pontiac where they live, they say they live in Detroit, because that's how Detroit works.
Okay.
But
Well, it's kind of like asking somebody who lives right outside of Phoenix where they live, and they say Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah. Or Scottsdale or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a really cool show. But at their showroom, they have like a bunch of multi-million-dollar Ferraris and Cobras, and they have one of those Persang Bugatti replicas. So there was a ton of really cool stuff, and they had some awesome street food, street tacos. And they invited a bunch of people to have a display the night before, so we probably had 35 cars or so the night before, and then we had about 450 cars show up on Saturday.
Holy cow.
It was a really big show. And it was
That's
right
amazing.
there on the Detroit River, in a park right by the river. So we had great views of Canada and the bridge in the background, and it was a really awesome show. We had a great time. Friend of the show, Myron,
Yep.
had his daughters bring his new Autech Stelvio Zagato to the show, and it won Radiston show.
For good reason.
For excellent reason. It's perfect. It's a low mile car that his daughters loaded a dog into the back of and drove it from Cleveland to Detroit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, heck yes, this is the best thing ever.
So that's what I love about Myron, is he's not afraid to use his stuff.
Afraid to use his stuff.
Yeah.
He's on vacation. He's on his 3-month hiatus in Greece right now. So he's like, I can't make it, but I'll send my daughters in the car. And I was like, well, if you can't be there, I guess that's the second best thing.
Well, we know he lets the strangers drive his cars too.
Right, yeah.
Well, not so much strangers. You need to have some kind of relationship with the man, but yes.
He's one of the coolest dudes I know, so he's probably listening to this, so thank you for bringing the car.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And it's probably one of those cars that it's the only time you're ever going to see one out of Radwood.
Yeah, probably.
Unless he brings it back.
Unless he brings it back, yeah. I mean, they only made 104 of them or something worldwide, so to have one of those at our show, it was an honor to have it. And his daughters are totally awesome. We had a great conversation. And
yeah, they're way into it too, I guess.
Yeah. Apparently, they've been going to car shows since they were toddlers. So.
Yep. That's a parenting technique that my parents also used.
Start them young.
To the car show. Yep, exactly. That's why I'm here today.
So yeah, it was a really cool show. Thanks to everyone who came out to Detroit. It made it as awesome as it was. People always come up and thank me for having Radwood, and I'm like, well, if nobody showed up, we wouldn't have a show. So it's totally on everybody that brings their cars out. So
yeah, we get that, but if nobody organized it, there wouldn't be one either.
Yeah,
so
well,
the thanks is deserved.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm totally stoked on some of the pictures I saw of that show.
It was really cool. So it's one moment that was really awesome was we were parking cars, and this like really ratty 318 powered Dakota just rumbles in, and it's rust everywhere. I mean, you can see through the fenders, you can see through the quarter panels. The bed like won't even hold anything because it's just rust. But he had this hot motor in it with big headers and stuff, so it was like a fast machine. And he parked right in front of a Ferrari 456 and right next to a Ferrari 400i. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. Because it's like everybody's on the same footing. We don't like, discriminate against people for having nasty cars or whatever. And he's like
welcome.
Totally owns it.
Yep. That's cool. Well, probably because it's got a big motor in it. Probably helps.
Right. Yeah.
That's still an aesthetic in itself. Just that
right
total rat sleeper. I know another friend of Andrew's and mine that used to live out there on the East Coast was there. He was part of that big Skyline group that showed up all together.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
there was a ton of Skylines.
Yeah, I saw the cool pictures they posted up where they parked them all on the river and they had like Skylines in front of the Skyline.
Yeah.
And that was a really neat little gathering they had there. I think they kind of made it into like their own meet while they were there.
Right. Yeah.
Which I don't usually encourage because normally it's a bunch of Chargers and Challengers at a Cars and Coffee. But
right. Yeah. When it's imported
okay,
Skylines that are all right-hand drive, it makes a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, it makes a little bit more of an impact.
There were
cool.
more.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
More Vipers than we've ever had at a show. That was pretty cool. There was probably
that makes
10
sense,
Vipers or something.
Given the location, that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
That's a big deal car for there.
But there were almost no Fox bodies or third-gen Camaros, so it was weird.
Well, you are still fighting the Rust Belt there, so you do still have cars that weren't as special as a Viper that were driven.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of which are not going to be
fair.
around.
But you also have the UAW wonks that were like, oh, I'm going to buy this and put it in my garage with 4 miles on it, and then it's going to be my retirement package.
Yeah.
And then they all traded him in on Vipers.
That's, fair. That's fair.
Well, if you kept that Fox body, you weren't wrong. But I know,
the Viper's gone down in value and the Fox body's gone up.
Yeah. we actually have at least like 3 listeners. I know there's the one with the Skyline. There's like 2 others that are they follow our show and then they went to Radwood because they live out there. They were like all engineers for OEMs, I think. So
yeah, the person I was just talking about is definitely one of them. So
yeah,
he's an engineer for an
OEM. But I think too, I had commented on Facebook. I think a lot with the Fox bodies, it's still hard to get them to go to a show with imports. The normal, like a normal Fox body owner, because they still look down on imports.
Yeah, yeah, probably. I mean,
well, Andrew made a good point too that cars like Mustangs and Camaros have been going to Cars and Coffees or cruise nights or car shows since they were brand new.
Sure.
So it's hard for them to get excited about a show that has other cars that they didn't care for when their car was brand new, and a lot of those owners are of that same generation still. So
yeah, I suppose
I
they
think
just
you're
need to
fighting
come
that
to
a
a
little
show
bit.
and have a good time.
Yeah, I feel like if you own a Fox body, you're into 80s and 90s stuff.
Yeah.
Like you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, you probably still have 80s and 90s stuff in your wardrobe.
Yeah. Like
for sure.
The Cars and Coffee I went to today, there was an ASC McLaren convertible Fox body. Mint.
That's so cool.
Yeah, white with the hard top over the convertible, and it had like blue interior with the white pinstripe. I was like, this thing's beautiful. And then right next to it was a guy with a Calypso green Fox body.
Nice.
And I was like, that's like the most 90s of any Fox bodies, the Calypso green ones. Like, why wouldn't you be into it? But,
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
I mean,
hopefully we get some in Boston.
Yeah.
We try to facilitate the show to be something that's a little bit for everybody, and there was some people on Facebook that were like, well, it was a little annoying that the 2 3000 GTs weren't parked next to each other, or no, they were Dodge Stealths. Sorry. And I was like, well, we do that on purpose, like that.
Yeah.
We want people to park next to people that they would never talk to at a Cars and Coffee or whatever.
Right.
Right, like your Dakota next to your Ferrari.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly
and
what you mean.
Forces people to walk around and
Exactly.
look at everything.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't just end up in your little clique, sitting in your lawn chair.
The best story about that is from the Austin show, because the cars are all so spread out, and I wound up meeting a guy who showed up in an F40.
Right.
And he wound up becoming friendly enough with me that he allowed me to store my car in his garage with his F40.
Right.
You know, his $1 million F40 and my $100 Sapporo in the same place. So
speaking of the Sapporo,
yes,
Yeah, what did you get to do with it this weekend?
I drove it a lot.
as you usually do.
Yeah, you did drive that dumb thing a lot.
I do drive it a lot. Yes, I bought when I got the car, it had 57,000 miles on it, and I turned 83,000 on it this weekend. So I've definitely driven the wheels off of it.
Just imagine if it had never been saved from the junkyard.
It would be a new Hyundai Elantra.
Isn't that the craziest story? You heard that story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to go through
no,
it because it's a bunch of other
everybody's heard it.
places.
Yeah.
So this weekend was the 15th anniversary show of JCCS, otherwise known as the Japanese Classic Car Show. It's held in Long Beach, California every year. For the past 2 years, it's been held at Marina Green Park, which Marina Green Park is a very lush, grassy field pretty much next to the Pacific Ocean. It's actually been used in a ton of TV shows and movies as well. So if you watch any shows that take place in either Miami or California, they use that as their setting usually. So that's kind of a cool tidbit about the park. Actually, the show Dexter, a lot of it was filmed there. Yes, which is really neat as a fan of that show. But it was cool because there were 420 something cars there. So it was a similar size show to Radwood.
Yeah. But all Japanese.
All Japanese, all pre-95.
0 Fox bodies. 0 third-gen Camaros.
Just
We
one
haven't beat
fake
on
Fox
that.
body called a Sapporo. But yeah, no, it was a hell of a show, and it always is. I first went to the show in 2012 as a spectator. I've never had a car there, and it's been my goal to have a car there since then. And it didn't disappoint. It's just neat. Everybody is so into the old Japanese stuff that they don't care what it is. It's very much like a Radwood show where everybody's just like, it doesn't matter what you bring as long as it fits the year criteria and the country it came from. Bring the car down. So
I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. There was a Dodge Challenger at Radwood.
I could see that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, we got tagged in a couple pictures of it.
And it had a little piece of paper in the back window that said "Hello Kitty, not Hellcat."
Yes.
It was funny because somebody sent me the picture of it, and I was like, wait, is this at JCCS or is this at Radwood? I was like, what show is this?
Could be at either one.
Yeah.
So at JCCS, there was also a black Challenger.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's why I was
So-
like, what is this?
But the black Challenger at JCCS was fresh out of paint, full restoration car.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the thing was like a 100-point concourse car. Yeah, it was like a 100-point concourse car. It was ridiculous. I haven't seen a nicer one in my entire life.
Who would spend that kind of money on a car like that?
Other than me, just one guy apparently. No, the car was gorgeous. There were 4 counting mine Chrysler rear-wheel drive Mitsubishis.
Oh, wow.
So there was that Challenger, my Sapporo. There was a 78 Plymouth Arrow, which is the Mitsubishi Celeste hatchback in the rest of the world. That was also a full restoration, like bare metal respray, rebuilt motor, retrimmed interior, like stunningly gorgeous car.
So of all
And
of the 5 that are still running in the U.S., 4 of them were at JCCS and 1 was at Radwood.
Yes.
Wild.
Yeah. And there was a 75 Colt Coupe, which was a 13,000-mile original Survivor. So that was the highlights of the Mitsubishis for me. Also at the show was the same Ram 50 pickup that was at Radwood, LA.
That thing was... talk about somebody spending money on a car that's like that thing was mint.
I don't think it was restored. I think it's original.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Then that's
the
even
car
more impressive.
It's 100% a Survivor.
Wow.
Very, very low mile Survivor. 2.6 to the 5-speed.
Why is
What a
that
car.
something that anyone would save? Like that.
I appreciate they did. And the
Oh,
current
totally. Absolutely. It's one of
the current.
It's one of those
Go ahead.
things like a minivan at a museum or something. Like, it's an important piece of history, and it deserves to be, like, one of them deserves to be saved. But it's
Speaking
like,
of
that
which-
was a work truck. Like, an
Wasn't
inexpensive
there
work truck.
Wasn't there a museum piece minivan at Radwood as well?
I looked into it. It was not the same one. unfortunately.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be the Smithsonian Plymouth, but it was not.
But it was pretty damn nice.
It was very nice. Yeah, it was Dodge's personal, their historic collection.
So that's still a museum piece, just a different museum.
Sure. Yes.
So that's pretty cool too.
Yes.
All right. So other than Mitsubishi's, what else was notable?
What else is there? There was tons of cool stuff. Obviously, there's tons of right-hand drive imported stuff from Japan. I know, Andrew, you're a huge proponent and fan of the AutoZam AZ1s. There were a few of those there. One of them actually won best imported car, best JDM car, because it was an awesome, stunning piece. They were more 510s than I think still exist somehow. There were at least 4 or 5 77, 78 Toyota pickups, Brad, in various states of restore.
Nice. Is yours going to be there next year?
We were talking about that, actually.
It's already yours. It's just sitting in my yard.
Right. We just got to figure that out. That's once you're back in Utah, we'll figure it out.
Nevada.
So, that's what I
Don't
meant.
go to the wrong state to pick up a pickup truck.
Well, I don't want to tell everybody where you live. It's a very small state, very easy to
Right,
find.
yeah.
Yes, once you're back in Nevada, not Utah. Listen, I'm a new West Coaster, so I'm still not clear on what state's what.
They're all basically the same state. That's fine.
Pretty much.
Just one of them square ones, slightly east of California.
Right.
That's all right. Bradley earlier said something about Iowa, and I was like, yeah, that's the West.
I mean, when you live in Boston your entire life?
Right.
When I said we're 10 minutes from the ocean, we can't go any further east, then yes, that is the West.
Yeah, exactly. Springfield, Mass. is the West. Like, there's nothing... It doesn't matter. So anyway, once I get back to Utah or Nevada or California or wherever Bradley happens to be at the time, we'll figure that out. Where was I at? Cars at the show.
I'll be back home tomorrow, by the way.
I won't be there tomorrow, sorry.
Okay.
The cool thing about the show is that it's gotten such worldwide notoriety now that people are coming from Japan and not just spectators of the show.
Oh, wow.
Sponsorship is coming from Japan. Watanabe Wheels flew in with like 15 people and had a huge booth set up where they sold wheels and stickers and t-shirts and the whole nine right there at the show.
Hashtag slam it on Watts.
Everything on Watts is what belongs. Everything on Banana Spokes. Actually was really neat because in the hotel we stayed at, we got a super killer deal on the Westin Long Beach, and we literally paid like Motel 6 money to stay in a Westin, which was awesome. Yeah. But in the parking garage was all of the cars from the car club called the Wild Cards.
Yeah.
Which is a huge deal out in Southern California. They were staying in the same place. And they were actually sponsored by Watanabe this year. And every one of their cars had new set of Watts on it.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so every car in the garage, including mine, little, tip of the hat to myself, was in there on Watts pretty much. So it was pretty ridiculous. I'm going to put a post up tomorrow probably with just pictures of the wheels in every car in the parking garage of the hotel that we stayed in, because it was a weird sight to see in America in 2019 to have like 7 cars in the same parking garage all sitting on Watanabes.
That's the great thing. Like when you look at the history of car culture over the last 20 years, like 20 years ago that could not have happened.
Right, exactly.
But now because the world is so much smaller with internets, like people actually know what Watanabes are.
Exactly. It's not just a couple of us fringe enthusiasts that are aware of it.
Right.
Actually, the only reason I even knew what Watanabes were before it was hugely popular here was from model building.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the Japanese kits came with Watanabes as options because they're so ubiquitous in Japan. But you're right, the world is so much smaller now because we literally got there Friday night and we're pulling out of the parking garage to go to the car wash, and there's this the big Lexus SUV, like a GX 470 or whatever, pulling in at the same time, and I hear somebody go, "Hey, Brad!" Now, I've only lived on the West Coast for like 3 months.
Yeah.
and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
To
I'm
be
as far
fair,
from Boston
you're
as I
like
can be.
8 hours from the West Coast.
And I'm 6 hours from the West Coast. Excuse me very much. Not 8 hours.
How fast are you driving?
In a Sapporo, 35. We hit 75 a couple of times, which is the
Okay.
speed limit. But usually we're hovering around 70, I would say. The car is not what you would say spiritingly. Its Chrysler A904 transmission does not allow it to go anywhere very fast.
All right, so who saw you? Who recognized you?
It was one of the Wildcards guys, Jay Coe. He is the one who has the bright red DR30 Skyline.
Oh, sure.
The one that,
Okay.
that won Raddest in show,
It's
I
in
think.
Las Vegas.
At Vegas? Hot Wheels made a casting of, yes. Yeah, I've known him for a few years through the interwebs, talking
Yeah.
back and forth.
I
about
met him at
things.
SEMA a couple years ago. Cool dude.
Yeah, really cool guy. But it was so weird to be pulling out and just have somebody like yell your name. And,
Yeah.
you know, you're 300 miles from your new home and 3,500 miles from your lifelong home. And just that somebody knows who you are just randomly pulling out of a parking garage. So, yeah, the world is small. But the show was awesome. All the cars are awesome. The Watanabe guys were there. Racing 7 was there, who's another long-time car parts supplier in Japan. There are a bunch of JDM import people there, parts importers, car importers. Enki was there. What Monsters Do still has their thing going with Enki. They were there. Yokohama Tire was there. Toyota was there. Toyota had 3 S800s and a 2000 GT in their display. Mazda was there, and Mazda brought out their Charge-sponsored 787B race car,
Good.
which is...
I'm glad Mazda's getting back into events because they were out for a little while.
Were they?
Yeah, they... well, about the same time that they dropped sponsorship of Laguna Seca, they
Okay.
they kind of laid low for a bit with the heritage
Well,
cars.
they didn't lay low at all because they
Good.
not only had the 787B there and a bunch of new Miatas, obviously, but in the very center of the whole entire show, they had this. They basically set up a giant living room with waters and like snacks and leather couches, and they did a whole thing, which was pretty essential on a very rare 85-degree day in Long Beach. Because it's 85 in Long Beach, it's 85% humidity, and it was a hot day.
That
So-
sounds exactly like what Detroit was. It was
Was it the same?
82 and 85% humidity.
Yeah,
It was-
except at least we had a bit of an ocean breeze.
Yeah, we had nothing.
Yeah.
It was hot.
So yeah, I have absolutely no complaints about the show. I mean, it was a killer time, as it always is. And I don't. Have you ever been to the show, Brad?
I have not. I've wanted to go for years because I remember reading about it in Sport Compact Car years ago.
Yep. That's how I originally found out about it as well.
Yeah, man, I
So-
miss that magazine.
Yeah, that was the best of all the. We should actually have an episode, Andrew, where we delve back into old magazines and talk about the history of them, because that was a killer magazine. That magazine was instrumental in getting me into the cars that I'm into today. Between that and model kits and Gran Turismo,
He just pulled out
those
a
were the three
copy
things.
from a stack
what?
of magazines.
Yeah, just happened to be.
Oh,
behind me.
he's got one right there.
Yeah.
It's probably the one that he recently bought because they had an Eclipse ad in it or something.
Yeah.
But
Cool. So how everything went well on the drive? Car held up fine, and
yeah, there were no issues. We had one slight concern. We were about 30 miles outside of Long Beach on Friday night, and we started hearing a squeaking noise. Turned out that it was the belt. It was a little bit loose when it was under a load and the headlights were on, and it was requiring charging pretty much. So obviously it made a little nervous. We pulled off the highway and did the rest of the trip to the hotel on back roads just to make sure we didn't have to put it under a heavy load. And if we did break down, we were obviously in a place where it would be less dangerous. Went to AutoZone and bought a couple of belts, and so I wouldn't have any issues getting home. And obviously they're standard belts, so it's easy to get. Spent about, I think, $15 on belts, so I can handle that. It's a lot cheaper than a tow. So, but yeah, we made it home without any issue, so no complaints.
Well, I'm glad that the Radwood show in Philly was very helpful in getting you motivated to put a transmission back in that car.
Yeah, that's why I did it. Actually, that car would still be sitting broken in the garage in Haverhill if it wasn't for Radwood. The whole reason I put that car together was for Radwood.
you've driven it a lot since then, and
So
taken
I
it
drove
to a
it.
lot of car shows.
I drove it
since then.
from Boston to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Boston, Boston to Austin, Austin to Phoenix, Phoenix to Las Vegas, Las Vegas to Phoenix, Phoenix to Long Beach, Long Beach to Phoenix.
Nice.
All since
so it's
that,
been
yeah.
across the country this year.
Yep.
Yeah, I said Boston to Austin, and then Austin to Phoenix. Yeah. So yeah, that car's been quite a lot this year. I've done probably 4,000 miles in that car this year. Probably more actually.
More
Probably
than
closer
that.
to 5,000
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably 5,000 now. So
That's
but yeah, no,
sweet.
it's been a hell of a year, and thanks to Radwood for keeping me motivated to do it because
I love
he
hearing
gave me
that.
that
'cause
extra push.
We had a similar thing at Detroit where a friend of mine has a Coupe Quattro, or it's a Quattro build, and he's doing a short wheelbase conversion and making it like an actual Evo rally car.
Oh yeah, Paul.
Yeah. And that
from,
car has
Illuminata?
been on a wooden buck for 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he got it on wheels specifically to bring it to Radwood.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I told
Was
him
it
he had
running?
to drive it to Radwood next year, and he said that he would.
I have
Okay.
we bought a set of braids for the Mirage we had from
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and the Team Dynamics that are on my Galant I bought from him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I used to rallycross against him, or well, with him, in Detroit region when I lived there, like 12 years ago. So I've known him for ages, and I was talking to him, and I was like, "Hey, I remember my first rallycross. I ran out of fuel, and you had a 1-gallon gas can, and you loaned me a gallon of gas so that I could get to the gas station and fill up." And he goes, "Did you ever give me that gallon of gas back?" But I love that guy. He's one of the coolest dudes in the world. So yeah,
I
if you
don't
need
think-
braid
I
wheels,
I don't think I've met him personally, but he's definitely
he's a trip. He
Yeah. Was he rallycrossing the Porsche then?
no, this was pre-Porsche. He had so the first rallycross that he brought the Porsche to, I was there and I ran it. I co-drove with him. So I've driven that car. I can't drive it now because he's got too small of a seat in it. But when it was still the stock 911,
Yep.
I raced against him. And I think he sabotaged the timing equipment because I definitely was faster than him. But they were like, "Oh, we can't record your time, so we don't know who won."
That's pretty
But
good.
anyway, back when I was racing my Crown Victoria with a limited slip diff, and I came down to the wire on the championship for 2-wheel drive, but I lost to a Tacoma pickup. So, but anyway, he was running a Legacy wagon with a 6-cylinder and manual transmission swap.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty hot setup with the
Yeah.
local rallycross group here too.
Yeah.
The H6 Subarus.
It was a sweet car. It sounded great. He had headers and stuff on it because it was Michigan
Yeah.
and nobody cares.
Right.
Yeah. And then he sold that and got the 911.
That's a good trade up.
Yeah. That 911, I mean, it was a really soupy day when we were racing, and with the weight distribution the way it is, it would get. That thing moved really well. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they usually do. I've seen a lot of 911s running rallies and stuff, and it's really neat to see them come like over a crest and get light, and then when they land, those back wheels just dig in and
Yeah.
throw huge rooster tails and just they dig in and take off. It's
Yeah, man.
really neat to watch. I always forget that you were a rallycrosser back in the day because that was probably about the same era that we were doing it too.
Probably.
Because if you were doing it back, how many years ago was it?
It would have been like,
Like 2003-ish?
no, it was
maybe?
later than that. It would have been like 08, 07, 08.
Yeah, we
thought
started in 07, 08.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the same era we were running New England region with our Mirage. You were probably doing that in Detroit, so that's actually cool. So, yeah, we put those braid wheels through their paces on that,
He
on
got
that Mirage.
he got the 911, I think, in 12 because I was living in Ohio at the time, and I came up for one rallycross, and I wrote about
Okay.
it for a Porsche magazine that is now dead. But anyhow, yeah.
As most magazines.
Well, yeah, sport compact car, rip.
Yep. That Porsche magazine, maybe rip.
Well, I've got a couple Craig Don't Tell Me's.
Oh.
Because I figured you wanted to play it.
I've never played. This is going to be great.
Yeah, nobody has. So it's always been a just me and Andrew thing. You're the first guest to play Craig Don't Tell Me.
I always play along when you guys are doing this when I'm listening, and I've never gotten one right.
I had to pick some ones pretty quick, so hopefully they're decent ones.
All right.
So, all right, we'll do Bradley first.
Okay. Hit me.
Hold on, can we do this as like a
Who
guess
gets
or
it
pass?
first?
You have to like ring in.
I'm not going to ring in, but I'll let him guess first, and if he flounders, I'll put a guess in.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we've never done it with 3 people, so all right, here we go. Thank you for taking the time to read my post.
Oh, we're already off to a great start.
New Beetle.
Yeah.
Blank Corvette motor rated at 265 horsepower is actually far
really?
closer to 300 horsepower. The 1993 and back 5.7 would not ever pass the ever-tightening emissions standards, and rather than build a ground-up motor for the platform, GM decided to fit the Corvette engine into blank. I don't want to give it away. So we owe this engine, or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Okay.
This is a one-owner car. Driver's seat is torn. There's some rust through, but it's all there. Runs and drives. Great price. Sell quickly. Great fixer-upper of daily beater. Well worth restoring. Sold as is. But I'll tell you, this drivetrain is front end and engine transmission all in great condition. Odometer stopped reading. Computer's still storing it.
Good.
Is there a price?
$28.50.
That's cheap for all that legendary Corvette power.
I know. It's closer to 300 horsepower. I'm going to say that is... Oh. I'm going to say that's a full size. So I'm going to say it's a Buick Roadmaster.
You are, like...
Close.
Inside the diamond.
Yeah. So it's the Caprice.
Judges?
Impala SS?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't say Judges. I don't know what the car is either.
I didn't think an Impala SS would be that cheap, but
if
it's got rust and ripped seat, then
you didn't see me look off into the distance in the basement. I was looking for the Judges.
Yeah, okay, I got you. There's actually fun fact. There is a Impala SS parked right next to the Sapporo right now on 24-inch wheels.
dope.
Yes,
I want it.
So this is a '96 Impala SS for $28.50.
That's cheap, but with rust and
yeah.
Is it pretty shot?
It doesn't look. I mean, it looks pretty beat up.
Okay.
It looks like an old taxi cab.
Okay.
We also don't know the mileage because we have to ask the computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Computer's still storing it though.
But he's got 88,021 written down here.
Right.
I'm surprised you didn't say how much
Last he checked it,
invested.
1997.
Yeah. So let me read you the full thing is great. So it's like the 1993 and back 5.7 would not pass the ever-tightening emission standards. Rather than build a ground-up motor for the platform, GM decided to fit the Corvette engine into B-body cars. So police package Impalas and Buick Roadmasters and the Impala SS owe its horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Nice.
That's what
That's
It's
a
not
bold
exactly
move.
true, but
It's a sliver of truth, so we'll give him that.
I suppose it's a half truth.
It has the same displacement as a Corvette.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an LT1, so it's sort of a Corvette motor.
Yeah.
It's a Corvette motor in the same way that a Dodge Ram is a Viper motor.
You mean the RT10 or the
V10 Ram?
The V10.
yeah.
I guess it'd be the same as saying like a Chevy pickup truck with an LS is the same as an LS Corvette.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah,
No,
maybe.
I think they're closer than that. I think they're a little closer than that. But anyway, yeah.
Either way, it's not like they were like, "Oh, we're out of engines. Let's cut up some Corvettes."
Right.
It's like
I love when
it's
people.
it's not a Corvette engine. It's a GM engine that they have.
I love-
Yeah.
in both
Right.
vehicles.
Okay. Yeah. I see where you're coming from.
That's the
that's what
old
we're going
cruise
with.
night tall tale, right? No, this one. I know that this one came with the Corvette engine because it was
Right.
built. They ran out of regular engines. They went and got the Corvette engine just for my car.
Right.
So, do you want to hear the best story ever about that?
Sure.
It was a Mercury Marauder, so
Yep,
Mercury's
I know this
version
one.
of the Impala SS.
Love this.
And there was a old man who used to bring one to the local cruise night on Wednesday nights. And he would open the hood and stand next to the car, and he would talk to everybody that walked by. And the car had 800 horsepower, but
Yep.
he never did anything to it. It had a
Yep.
stock intake still and everything.
Yep.
Car ran nines.
Of course.
And the best part of the whole story was that the guy who did the engines wasn't there that day, so this one was assembled by Mr. Roush himself. Sure, because Mr. Roush worked on the floor of the Mercury factory in 1999 or 2000, whatever year it was.
A friend of mine, his dad, we were on a road trip, and his dad was telling me this tall tale. He said, back in 1973, I had a Corvette that got the Can-Am motor.
Can-Am motor.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it
That's
was...
good. That's...
I got in at a private test day at Indianapolis.
Oh.
And I ran fast enough that I would have qualified for the 500 that year. I'm like...
What year was this?
1973.
1973.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pole time was like a 200.1.
Yeah. I
bet you
just gonna
did.
look it up. Yeah. That's pretty amazing, actually. That's one of the better ones I've heard.
Oh my god. I was laughing and I was like, no, don't bullshit me.
I did have a guy who, now we're way off traffic here. Way off topic, I mean traffic.
Well, it is auto off topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I did have a rider, because I've been doing Uber driving here in Phoenix, and I had this young kid who started talking about my car because it's manual transmission. And then it turned into all of these things about everything that he knew about cars or didn't know about cars. And by the time I was like, get the hell out of my car, man, at the end of the ride, he was telling me about his grandfather's Mustang that was supposed to be his, but he had to sell it. And it had special low compression pistons, and it had special this, and it was 1,000 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is a big disparity, my friend.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And the car would, it was the same old school tall tale. The car would pull the front wheels through the half mile, and it was, would race with race cars, but we street drove it. It shouldn't.
Did you say
street
pulled
legal.
the front wheels through the half mile?
Yeah, exactly. That's all the stuff this car had in it. Was I was ready to be like, man, I'm surprised I haven't heard of this car because it sounds like it'd be the fastest one ever built.
Yeah,
but I just let it go. So.
That's funny.
I did like it was a low compression 1,000 horsepower, which is also a
well, I mean, you could do low compression pistons if you were going boosted.
If you're boosting it, yeah.
Yeah.
But
maybe he just didn't know.
Well, if you're boosting it to 1,000 horsepower, but you're still only making 400 pound-feet of torque,
right.
I guess that would be, it had to be a really big turbo. It takes a really long time to spool.
Yes. Well, I've seen some Civics that do stuff like that. Dyno Queens that they make 200 horsepower till 7,000 RPM, and then at 7,001 RPM they make 1,000.
So his Corvette ran 198.4 miles an hour because that was the qualifying time to enter into the Indy 500 in 1973.
Yeah, I remember looking it up at the time and like emailing him and be like, "This is total BS," because I was like 17 at the time, so.
So Johnny Rutherford set a track record that weekend at 199.07. So yeah, that's a hell of a Corvette.
Yeah, that C3 with its soft suspension and terrible bodywork and
so there were also
aerodynamics.
in 73 there were 3 competitors killed during the month of like getting up to the race. So
yeah, and one of them was in a 73 Corvette with a Can-Am motor.
Safety apparently wasn't on their mind that year. That's why they let him run the 73 Corvette.
Right.
Yeah. Excellent. That's a good story. That's almost as good as, or probably better than Mr. Roush building his engine personally. So,
all right,
anyway.
so let's get back to Craig.
All right. This one's for other Brad, Phoenix Brad.
Not Utah Brad.
I'm selling a blank 2-door hardtop, one owner, has a numbers matching 396 V8 with 3-speed standard 4-shift trans, disc brakes in the front, no power steering, 12-bolt rear end. Needs to be restored, but they don't but they do make almost everything for it.
This is a 396 with a 3-speed?
Yeah.
So it's a Nova.
No. $7,500 firm, not a penny less.
That's a Chevelle.
Wait till you see the pictures of this thing.
Is it a Chevelle?
Is it rusty?
You say a Chevelle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It had to be an Nova or a Chevelle. There's no other
It's a
3-speed
69
big
Chevelle.
block combo, I think. Yeah. That's pretty good.
I mean, it's brutal.
Beat? Real bad? Rusty?
I mean, real bad. I mean, can you see it?
Yeah, I'm looking. Oh my god.
I would, I'd mob that.
$7,500.
I drive it.
I'd definitely drive that.
I mean, honestly, if that's a true numbers matching 2-door SS 396, that's probably worth that.
But SS wouldn't have been a 3-speed, would it?
It could have been.
Oh, really?
Automatic, right?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
this
okay.
is no, it's manual.
You
But
could have a
it could have
3-speed
been
manual floor shift, or just
Yeah, of course.
I thought it'd be
That's-
like a turbo 350 with a 3-speed or something.
No. Oh no. This is a floor shift car. That's how I knew it was a That's how I knew it was a Nova or a Chevelle, because you couldn't get a big block 3-speed Camaro or Corvette, but the Chevelle and the Nova you could.
Weird. So a 3-speed manual floor shift?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I knew it existed. There, especially in the 60s, that was pretty common. But yeah, I would have figured it would be an automatic. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I was actually unaware that you could get one on the big block, but I knew that a 3-speed. You started talking 396, so I knew it was a Chevy.
Right.
And you said it was a 2-door.
Right.
So they specified 2-door, so I knew right there it was a Nova or a Chevelle.
I want
and then
the,
when you said 3-speed, I was like, well, it's probably a Nova because it's more common in the Nova, but the Chevelle will be next.
Those, didn't they make a sedan, Chevelle sedan, that looked really weird?
Wouldn't be.
They made the same car in a sedan. Well, no, they made a Chevelle and a Malibu in a sedan.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get an SS in a 4-door.
Right.
It had a very strange roof line. It was not attractive.
Yeah. I kind of like them because they're weird, and I like weird
Well,
things.
I like one in like a grandma spec.
Yeah.
You get one with like a column shifted bench seat, like green on green with a 354 barrel.
I like them in the same way that I like Maverick 4-doors.
I don't like Maverick 4-doors.
Ah, wow.
Those are pretty.
I've had this dream in my head that I will never get to unless I become a billionaire. That I want to do a Maverick 4-door stage rally car with a 300 cubic inch inline 6 split, basically so that it's run like 2 3-cylinders with a turbo on each one.
You have had some crazy ideas in your past.
I'm an idea man.
that I have entertained. This one is a thing.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
I'm an idea man. That one's been in my brain since the days I was on the GRM forums like a decade ago.
Yeah, that's a dangerous place to be anyway.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. I've almost bought like every car for sale on that forum.
I was the like 6th highest commenter on that forum for a while. I had like 250,000 comments or something like that at one point.
That's why you didn't build anything.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Well, also I was in college and poor at the time, so yeah, that's
right.
why.
That's funny. Yeah, no, that's a hell of a forum there if you have some time to kill, because it's still pretty active actually.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
It's one of the few that survived the Great Forum Purge.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more for Bradley.
All right.
Okay. And I'll have one more for both of you afterwards.
We're doing pretty well here. I mean, it takes a couple guesses, but we got them both.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I got the format down with not giving enough hints, but not too many.
Well, my favorite one ever was the one where you're like, this car has 4 wheels. Brad, what is it? And I was like, man,
Yeah.
come on.
It's a car.
I've learned since then. All right. All right, first line I have to skip. So just over 24,000 miles. I'm the third owner. Clean Carfax. The pictures are an accurate representation. It really is as nice as it looks. In parentheses, unlike most sellers that say that, and you show up, it's a mess. Car is mechanically perfect and drives great. It is cosmetically a 9 plus of 10. 19-inch CCW wheels.
Okay.
Brand new Hankooks. Blah, 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 maintenance. Boiler catback. Sounds amazing. AC does not work as it doesn't on most blanks. Unfortunately, it needs a condenser. They do not make this part anymore, and as of now, I have not had any luck having the original one repaired. Minor wear and seat bolsters. Car comes with 2 keys, remotes, blah, blah, blah. Bunch of pamphlets, flyers, magazines regarding the car.
Okay, so remotes and Carfax means it's new enough to have a VIN and a little bit. So, yeah, okay. CCW wheels doesn't tell me a ton. It tells me a little. 19 inches tells me something. Does it at least look okay on 19-inch wheels?
It does.
It does, okay.
I thought I had a good idea until it was the AC condenser is not available.
Yeah.
That's what's really throwing me, because every car that I can think of that fit the rest of the description, you wouldn't be able to have a problem getting an AC condenser.
Right,
for.
yeah.
I mean, you can go get one for a 43 Studebaker if you wanted to. Like, get one made.
Yeah,
like,
so it's got to be old enough that the manufacturer doesn't support it anymore. So that's what, like 10 years? And new enough.
I think 7 is the law, but most go longer than that.
Yeah, sure. And new enough that it's got a remote keyless entry. I suppose it could be aftermarket. So we're looking at early 2000s to mid 2000s. So probably a. Can I get a country of manufacture?
United States.
United States.
Yeah, it's American.
All right.
I can tell already.
All right. You never know, because
wrong.
CCWs, they can work on some foreign cars, but I figured it was probably.
Well, I heard the Borla catback, and that's
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Like C5 Corvette? I can't imagine that it would be unavailable on a C5 Corvette, though.
I mean, you're in the right genre of car.
Okay. All right. Ooh. No, that would definitely be available.
I think we need to take that out of it. I think this guy is dumb.
Yeah, it could be. All right.
I can get parts for a 78 Colt. You can get parts for whatever this thing is.
Sure, right. Pano's Esperante.
No, but similar again.
Okay.
Wow.
Um.
Oh, is this car an automatic or a manual?
Manual.
Oh, never mind. Damn. This is a hard one, Andrew. There's
it-
enough information to
Was
get
there a
it,
price
too.
on there?
He wants $46,750.
What the hell is this?
That helps a little bit.
Yeah, but it ruins everything I had in my brain.
Yeah. 46 grand.
Can I throw a guess in there?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
No, it wasn't available manual. Never mind. Scratch that guess. Is this a GTO?
No.
No,
I
those
know
are
the
like
money.
12 grand.
Well, I know the money is out of hand, but you can ask. It could be one of those. Wife wants me to sell.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Only
yeah.
150 grand today only.
In the same vein as
42
that.
grand.
Is it a Viper?
It is a Viper.
Oh, okay.
It's a 97 GTS.
Yeah, you can definitely get an air conditioning compressor for that.
According to
You've
this
gotta
guy,
be able to.
1997.
It says-
Viper AC condenser.
it says AC does not work as it doesn't on most Vipers. Unfortunately, needs a
Weird.
condenser. They do not make this part anymore. I mean, the nose of the car is so low that the condenser might be a weird shape.
Yeah, but I mean, you could also just like have a condenser made. They're not.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
what
would,
I'm saying. You can make one for like a 40s hot rod.
Yeah.
I would think that the Vipers are mostly parts bin. Like, it's probably like
right?
a neon condenser.
Right. I suppose there are some parts that are Viper specific, but
this is like
Interesting.
this
All
is like my ultimate '90s car. I would love a GTS
Yeah.
coupe in
Yeah.
blue with white stripes.
I think we should.
I'm kind of partial to the like early '90s, like the 91, 92s that still had the side pipes.
I really loved the coupes.
Yeah,
It just
yeah, it's a good shape.
when it came out, it was like that is a really friggin' cool car.
Yeah,
This
but
one-
I also want something with like clip out windows.
This one does look pretty nice,
That does look nice.
and the CCWs do look pretty good on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this.
I think 19s are a little too big for it.
They are a little too big for
Yeah.
it, but I do.
Yeah.
The condenser has a weird shape.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. It is currently unavailable from every normal part source based on part number. I just looked the part number up, and I'm looking for it now. Amazon says out of stock. Rock Auto's out of stock. BAM Wholesale's out of stock. Walmart, which is basically Amazon's same search, is out of stock. This MoparStore.com is out of stock.
Well,
Mopar Parts Giant's out of stock.
He did say he tried to have it rebuilt. I would think any like radiator shop should be able to rebuild that.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Well,
it's a very weird shape.
Here's the thing: the car is based out here, so if he was out west where AC work is way more common,
Sure,
he could probably have it rebuilt.
Yeah.
Here, where people don't use their AC as much,
Yeah.
it's a lot harder, and especially even radiator shops. There's only like one radiator shop here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 17 of them here in Phoenix alone.
Yeah,
For
we've got a
obvious
bunch of
reasons.
them in Nevada because the mountains are right there. That's the reason we have a bunch of Volkswagen shops.
Yeah.
There's Volkswagen shops at the base of both sides of the Sierra.
Because they don't make it up.
Exactly. They either don't make it up or they just barely make it over. And
they
then
roll
they
down
coast
the other
down.
side.
Coast down to the other shop.
So I just sent you a couple pictures of it, Andrew, and you can see in the top left of it, it has like an angle cut out of it to fit something in the car.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I see it.
But again, I feel like you could make something fit in that hole. Like, you could use a condenser out of like a 90s Honda Civic that's tiny, and it would fit like half of that.
Like, yeah, maybe your air conditioning won't work as well, but you'll have some.
Right, or go to Vintage Air and find something that's a similar size
I guess that's
and shape.
the hot setup is to come up with a aftermarket AC system for Vipers.
We're going to be millionaires. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get to work, fellas.
You're going to get to build your Maverick. Let's see here. I got one more for both of you guys, just because we're in the vein here of Craig, Don't Tell Me, and I feel left out not giving you one. So I have a great one here.
All right.
I'm going to give you a couple of clues more than I normally do. I'm going to give you the year and the price, because it's going to throw you off.
Okay.
This is a 1983, blank, 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 and it's $24,995. So I'm sure you thought you could buy every 83 car on the road still for $24,995.
Nah, there's plenty
as
of
a
good
collective.
stuff that's expensive.
It's the nicest Plymouth Sapporo ever made.
You knew it. It's my car. It's for sale. $25,000. No, it's not that at all. Okay, this is a true.
I said the
one-owner
nicest
sys-
one.
Oh, wait, it is the nicest one.
No,
it's
it's
the
not.
only one.
There's a 9,000-mile one that's identical to my car in North Carolina for sale right now for $10,500.
Nice. That's a little
Yeah.
much.
But there's no title.
Oh, yeah, that's way
So,
much.
I'm waiting for it to be like $2,500, and then I'm going to go buy it and title it somehow. Anyway, this is a true one owner since new 1983 blank. All numbers matching, of course. The motor is the high output 4-barrel, 4-speed automatic with lockup torque converter, 2400 stall speed stock. 10-bolt 373 rear end with limited slip, heavy-duty suspension package, dual exhaust, AC, the factory air conditioning has been recently overhauled and is now blowing cold with modern R134A, so we know it's not a Viper. Power front, 83, yeah. Power front disc brakes, bucket seats with console, comprehensive gauge package. T-tops, gray interior, most were burgundy, this one's gray. Power steering, power door locks, power windows, power seats, power antenna, cruise control, delay wipers, rear window defrost, remote mirrors, stereo with cassette, leather steering wheel, chrome air cleaner top, original 15-inch wheels. 29,000 miles, car has always been stored in a temperature-controlled setting. Clean Carfax. This is a rare find that needs nothing but a new owner. I will tell you also this important fact. It is one of 3,001 and one of only 500 with the gray interior.
I think I got it.
A
All
rare
American on
collectible.
this one.
A rare collectible that will only continue to grow in value. A car that's distinct with the right paperwork. So the sale comes with a factory build sheet, dealer invoice, owner's manual, and original bill of sale.
I think it's Olds 442, the G-body one.
Damn, that was really good. On the first try.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is a one-owner 83 Olds Hearst 15th anniversary.
Just came to me.
Yeah. I was gonna say Turbo Trans Am.
You would have been a little. I don't think there was a turbo TA in '83.
I was gonna go T-type, but then you said 4-barrel, and I was like,
Yeah. But they weren't the early ones a blow through though.
They were earlier than '83. They would have been like '78-ish, and then by the time '83 came around, you had the Knight Rider, the Knight Rider style Trans Am was out, and that didn't come in a turbo until '89.
Oh right, because that was the anniversary one.
The '89.
Yeah.
It would have been, it would have been the 20th anniversary. I think, yeah, because that was the '69 was the first Trans Am. Yep. Okay, I was surprised. That was pretty good. You got that the first try. All right.
You also have an affinity for G-bodies, so...
To own one is to love one. This is a very clean car. No rust. Which is important because it's on the Minneapolis Craigslist. Runs and drives great. New rims and tires this year. New shocks. New intake gasket. New rear main seal. New engine oil pan gasket. Flowmaster exhaust. Recent hydrographics put on hood scoops. Car is not perfect, but in nice condition. I take this car to cruise-ins and local car shows. Trades possible. Firebirds, trucks, and S10s. $6,700 or best offer. So this wasn't one of my best ones because I didn't have a lot of time to look one up here because I've been on the road all weekend. But
I'll let Bradley guess.
It has Flowmasters.
Yep. Another American.
Hopefully.
Being cagey. You can put Flowmasters on other stuff, but
It has
Polish flows, baby.
It has hydrographics on the factory hood scoops.
Hydra?
Hydro, it says.
Hydro.
Yeah, I assume it's those ones that you like put the print out and you put it like in the solution and it puts the picture on the part. Mm-hmm. It is actually their skulls. I found the picture.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that threw me off because I didn't know what hydrographics were.
Yeah, have you ever seen like a lot of people do like valve covers with like wood grain look?
Yeah.
Or they do carbon fiber parts,
sure.
Fake carbon fiber
Right,
hydrographics.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
this one happens to be skulls.
Like water transfer decals like are on models.
Yeah, they're kind of like that, but I don't know. The process is hard to explain. It's a big tank. It's almost like powder coating.
Well, I'm sure the
chrome plating.
The whole hood is skulls.
No, just the scoops.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hear saying it's like tie-dye, but you like mask where the skulls would be, and then you pull the part up through the stuff, and it like tie-dyes it, right?
Right.
So when you have the thing in the solution, you can see the image across the top of the solution.
Right.
And you put the part down in it, and you pull it up, and the image goes on to the part.
I have seen that done, but I just couldn't picture, when you said it was skulls, I couldn't really picture that, so... I thought he just put like skull stickers on his...
It kind of looks like it's airbrushed, but it's not.
All right, so what would somebody...
Kind of, yeah.
Let's see. That would belong on Harleys. That would belong on...
We're not doing motorcycles here, though.
I know.
Also, it does not belong on anything, to be clear.
Sure. Yeah. Would be at home on.
Okay.
Man, I could see both Camaro guys and Mustang guys doing that.
Well, you have to remember, I said scoops. So it has two factory scoops.
Oh. Do you have any ideas?
A GTO?
No.
Okay.
That was where I was going, but I was like, that doesn't sound...
It's because he wants a Firebird.
I will tell you this. The GTO is not manufactured during this era. The car is a 91.
Okay. A Fiero?
It is not a Fiero.
Okay.
You said the year is 1991?
The year is 1991. But a car with two factory hood scoops and Flowmasters.
1991?
I'm not promising that these hood scoops are functional, but they are two hood scoops.
And they are
It is not. It is not a Pontiac, but you are in the right manufacturer.
Because Pontiac has a lot of fake scoops.
Yes.
Well, so
At some point in this car's life, earlier versions of this car, they were vents. Later versions were scoops. And neither of which were functional.
So it's a GM product.
oh, they
Yep.
could be scoops on the back.
They're not.
Oh,
They're on
okay.
the hood. Yeah.
All right. So
Is
they are hood scoops.
You're both right there. So stop thinking so hard and just spurt out a name of a car that has two hood scoops or two vents.
I have no idea. I
You should have an idea because you said it in passing when you weren't guessing yet. And it is exactly the kind of car that would have skulls on it.
Oh, so it's a Camaro.
It is a Camaro, yes.
I don't remember any Camaros with two hood scoops.
Remember the third gen Camaros?
Yeah.
They had the two black vents on the middle of the hood on the Z28s.
Oh.
In 91 and 92, for the last
Yeah.
2 years, they put little covers over them. They were like little
Okay.
hood scoops.
All right.
Oh.
So they had that weird F40 style rear wing.
Mm-hmm.
And the smoother body kit and those hood scoops to make it look more like a 90s car than an
So it
80s
was a
car.
Z.
Yeah, it's Z28, yeah. It's 91 Z28.
That's a shame because those are actually good cars.
It is a really nice looking car otherwise.
Aside from
it
the
has
skulls.
The skulls and the torque thrust wheels, which don't fit that
Oh,
car.
Yeah, that's
Don't
wrong.
fit that car at all. Yeah. But I sent the link to Andrew so he can show you the
Oh,
skulls.
that
in the
is a
last
nice
picture.
looking car.
It actually looks like water stains on the hood or cloud reflections.
It does.
But
It's hard to tell that there's actually.
It's actually
Oh,
skulls.
those are bad.
Would you think they were going to be good?
Well, it's not quite what I pictured.
It's even worse. It's not as bad actually as the local Galant VR4, Andrew, but
Yeah.
it's pretty bad. So that car's for sale right now, by the way. In case you wanted to own the.
Yeah. I mean, if you buff off all those things. Yeah.
Yeah, most of them are gone already. Actually, it looks like
All right. So that was a really
That was
fun
fun.
episode.
it was. Thanks for coming on, Brad. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to visit
Yeah.
the sacred Auto Off Topic podcast studios.
Yeah, the
that
studios-
I no longer visit.
Pretty nice. I've never been in a studio like this before.
Yeah. Nice little rumpus room looking.
Well, I'm glad that I am in Phoenix, so you guys can have the rumpus room all to yourself.
And
And
We do some, horsing around later.
yes,
so much room for activities. Unfortunately, I have to fly home tomorrow very early in the morning. So,
well, that stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll. Brad, where can they?
You'll be back. Well, hold on. So
What's
you're
that?
coming back to Boston in October
Oh,
for
yes, we
Radwood
should-
Boston.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the whole reason I'm
The
here.
whole reason you're here.
Yeah, so I for people who don't know, I drive the van to all of the events. So I was in Detroit, and I live in Nevada, and Radwood Boston is our next show. I didn't want to drive all the way back to Nevada and then sit there for 2 weeks and then drive all the way back in 2 weeks. So on the 12th, we'll be at the Lars.
Lars Anderson.
Yeah.
Museum. Yep.
Yeah. So that'll be a good time. We already have like 150 cars signed up,
Cool.
so it should be a pretty good show. We usually at least double the night of. People buy last minute tickets, so
Excellent. So that puts us at around 300 at least. So
yeah. So
That'll be
hopefully
good.
we'll sell 300 tickets between now and the night of, and then we'll have 600 cars. So we'll see. I would love to see what this area has to offer.
well, they no longer have an 83 Sapporo, and I apologize.
Well, you'll have your DSM, your German weird DSM.
I'll at least have the DSM, and if Andrew and I can get our act together, we may also have my shitty Starion. So
Oh, the multicolor one
Yeah.
Yes.
that
I
doesn't
mean,
have a the grill next to the.
it does. I have one on the way.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it doesn't
So-
take much to make it. I mean, it's still going to be shitty. So it's not like there's much more
Yeah.
effort to make it drivable.
So
Right.
I'm sorry. I have been listening to the show, but I don't know what is going to make it out to Arizona.
Oh, that I don't even know that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the DSM. So actually, after the 12th of October, the DSM will be driven to Arizona.
Right.
Actually, Angry Bird GTI Chris
Yes.
Cavalieri.
Yeah.
He and I are driving the car out together.
Okay, but only
after the
one.
show. Only the one car. Yeah.
Only the one car.
Yeah. I did not get the RX-7. The plan was to get the RX-7 finished, but life and money
Sure.
got in the way, and that didn't happen. And I haven't even gotten the part from my friend's house 2 hours away from where the car is to fix it yet. So,
But you have plenty of place to store all of these cars.
in Arizona,
No. Here.
well, we'll have to give you the grand tour of Brad's personal junkyard at. It's got 2 locations. We're
Okay.
expanding.
All right. Fantastic.
One is inside, one is outside.
Well, that's almost as bad as me because I have one location in Nevada and one location in Georgia. So,
Okay, well, I have 2 locations in Massachusetts
and
and
one
one
in,
location in Arizona. So, with the three Brad's junkyards, we've expanded really quickly in the past couple of years. And as you're also a name, Brad, who has
Yes.
a junkyard, we can just throw you right in the loop. We now have 4 locations
yes.
of Brad's pick apart. Please don't pick my parts.
We didn't get to any of my stuff about like unloading all of my cars and I'll have to talk about that in October when I come back.
Yeah. Well,
So when are you coming back in October? Are you going to be here for a few days around the show?
I'll be here the Thursday before the show, and then
Perfect.
I'll be driving home so I can stay a couple days if I have to.
Perfect.
Or if you want me
So,
to.
I don't care because I won't be staying a couple of days afterwards. But
Yeah.
I'd love to hang out before because I'll be in town from the early Wednesday morning through at least through Sunday.
Okay.
So you'll have plenty of stuff to do and hang out, and we'll show you all around the town, around the area, and whoever else from the Radwood official group is going to be here, we will certainly show a good time to, because we're obviously natives and we know everything and everybody.
Right.
So, but I will give you a tour of the Brad's Junkyard locations in 2 locations in Massachusetts, and we will also give you a tour of Andrew's dad's garage and my dad's garage, so you can see the nice stuff.
So the cliff notes of what I'm doing is I'm selling all of my stuff, I'm selling my house, and I'm going traveling for a year in
Yep.
a 13-foot travel trailer with my wife and 2 dogs. So that'll be interesting, and we'll see how
do you have
long
a
we
route?
make it. What's that?
Do you have an approximate route planned out yet?
No, we don't really even know where we're going to go. Just somewhere warm for the winter, and then gradually, as it gets too hot, go farther north.
Excellent. So you can start down here with me in Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right.
I would love to visit for a bit, especially once the house sells.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully, because we're in the opposite
And-
land, we're in the buying a house stage. So hopefully, we'll have a house so you can come stay in our house.
Well, and you can help me finish the trailer.
You might want to start somewhere else. That would be awesome. I would definitely be down with that.
So that's
looking
the
forward to that.
little thing, and then my 2 other projects that I am keeping, we're putting in storage. The 912E currently has a motor out of it. That's being
Yep.
rebuilt to like new or better than new spec. And that's going to be like a $7,000 rebuild, so I'm poor now. And then my Boxster, I just bought an electric motor, and I'm making that a hybrid. So
That is the most ambitious thing that I have ever heard, and I'm stoked that you actually have the parts to do it.
yeah.
And I know you have actual help there in Utah, Nevada, that is experienced with electric motor
Right.
stuff, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He just finished a leaf-powered DeLorean with 300 wheel horsepower.
yeah.
So
I want to do more stuff with electric cars. That'd be
They're
fun.
wait, is it a hybrid or just all electric?
all electric.
How do you make the Leaf motor can do that with the right batteries?
It's not the batteries; it's the power inverter. So
Okay.
he builds his own inverters, and yeah, you can crank the power up to basically whatever the motor will handle.
Because when you first said a leaf-powered DeLorean, I was a little concerned that that's the only way to make an actual DeLorean slower than it was.
Oh
to
no,
be.
I mean even
But-
stock, a Leaf has 220 pound-feet of torque,
Okay,
so it would already be faster than a stock DeLorean.
all right, I'm into this.
But anyway, yeah, you can find me. I just changed my Instagram. It's at pluginhybrid.
I'm laughing internally.
And then I'm also on Twitter at BC Brownell. So give me a follow.
Cool.
Excellent. Everybody should do that. Plug in Hi Brad on Instagram.
Yes. You can read my work on jalopnik.com and flat6s.com. Occasionally in Grassroots Motorsports, Auto Week, other places. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Brad, where
Now we can close the show out.
yeah. All right, Brad, where can they find you?
Instagram at TSISS350. The next few days I will be TSIS350. I will be adding a few pictures from JCCS hopefully next few days and other things around Phoenix. So be some stuff happening there.
TDI 496.
No.
Z28.
TSISS350 for you ruining everybody's memory of my name.
If they don't already follow you, then
Then why am I even saying it?
I don't know. Because it's how you finish every show.
That's right.
Well, see, here's the thing: we're picking up all the new listeners that are going to come in when you promote that you were on this fancy, awesome podcast.
Right.
So all the people that we don't already both know together,
Yeah.
which
Exactly.
is nobody in this country.
Nobody.
Everybody just listens to everybody else's podcast. It's the same.
Yeah, and not even that probably.
All right. So, as always, you can follow Auto Off Topic Podcast on Facebook, Auto Off Topic on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram, Race and Anger, and keep cars analog and aim for the
Aim
roses.
for the roses.